Biden travels to Georgia to meet with Asian American community leaders. Flags are flying at half staff at the White House and other federal buildings. And the House held a moment of silence to honor the victims of the shootings in Georgia and in solidarity with the members of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community who have faced discrimination and violence because of the coronavirus pandemic. Joining me now is Congressman Jimmy Gomez of California, a member of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus and the Assistant Whip for the House Democratic Caucus. Congressman, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. What do you make of President Biden's trip to Georgia today, and how has his administration handled the increase in attacks on Asian Americans? How would you rate it?
He's doing a great job. One of the things that he's doing is really acknowledging that there are directed attacks on the Asian American community. I represent one of the largest Korean populations in the entire country, and I know that they're appreciative and thankful for his response. And his trip to Atlanta, Georgia, sends a message of solidarity and that they're going to continue working to combat the racial stereotypes and the racial hate that's spreading across the country because of COVID-19.
Is there something specific you want to see done to address the surge, if you will, the rise in attacks?
Part of it is you have to speak out over and over and over again. Remember, we had a president, Donald Trump, that you would say that this was the Wuhan virus, the Kung Fu flu. This was somebody that spread hate over and over and over again, and blaming pretty much the pandemic on the Asian American community. So this Biden coming out and denouncing these attacks, standing in solidarity with the Asian American community, it's a big deal because it says that this is not appropriate behavior for anyone and it must stop.
Let me switch gears, if I can, for a moment and talk about immigration. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and a bipartisan group of senators, they're visiting Texas today to look at the surge in migrants coming across from the southern border. But there are no reporters traveling with them. Are you concerned about an apparent lack of transparency from the administration on what's actually happening there?
No. Remember that the previous administration lied about their policy when it came to child separation. They lied about how the money was being spent down there. They lied over and over again. I believe that they're going on a fact-finding mission, and they're going to take that information and they're going to use it to determine policy. And that policy will be based on facts, not on rhetoric, not trying to score political points.
But don't you think we're better off if we can have that transparency? I mean, I understand your criticism of the previous administration, but I'm asking about this one specifically. If you don't have visibility on it, doesn't it make it harder to have that openness and, the facts, as you mentioned?
Yeah. It's fine that I think that if they wanted to invite the press, great. Oftentimes I go to the border and the press doesn't come. So it really depends on the situation. Sometimes it doesn't allow for it. But more attention on what's going on the border is always a good thing because we need to make sure that the policy does change for the better.
Yeah, let me ask you one more question about the border, if I can. The secretary's visit comes one day after the House passed two major immigration bills that would put Dreamers and many undocumented farm workers on a path to citizenship. But Politico noted this: the president never mentioned the impending votes on the bills, although he tweeted about the legislation and put out statements after the bills passed. Those bills received bipartisan support. But are you concerned that a lack of a push from the White House and the border coverage could doom those bills in the Senate?
I'm not. And here's why. President Biden was a creature of the Senate. He also respects the fact that Congress is an equal co-branch of government. It is up to us to put forward legislation. It is up to us to garner support. And it's up to us to strike the deal necessary. And right now, we're not at a point where the White House needs to engage in order to cut a deal. But we're gonna. That's why we acted. These are still big bills that we passed yesterday that are going to mean a lot if we can get them done and get them to the president's desk.
Let's talk about the resolution that you introduced today calling for Georgia Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene to be expelled from the House for inciting political violence. Speaker Pelosi was asked about it this morning. Here's what she had to say.
Members are very unhappy about what happened here, and they can express themselves the way they do. What Mr. Gomez did is his own view, and that is not a leadership position.
So if other members, Congressman, of the leadership are not on board, it is more than likely, as you know, this measure will fail to get the 2/3 vote required. Why do this now? What specifically is the political violence that you believe the Congresswoman incited?
I wanted to expel her from the moment a few weeks after the insurrection. She has used political speech in order to incite insurrection, political violence, the storming of the Capitol. She used political speech saying that somebody should put a bullet in Speaker Pelosi's head. That's not the kind of behavior that a member of Congress should engage in. This is something that I believe in wholeheartedly. I totally respect Speaker Pelosi. She has a different job to do than I do. And remember, when it came to impeaching the president, not everybody was there at the beginning. And as time unfolded, more and more people came to that same realization. So this is just a matter of timing. I believe that as the months move forward, there will be more support in expelling Marjorie Taylor Greene from the House of Representatives.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.